Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review, your second segment of the Toon Review today. Of course, after the watch-along, which finished Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0 earlier on at Old Trafford today, in what was a very, very interesting game from the word go. As we expected, back and forwards it went, but we certainly had the better of the first half. Manchester United did up the tempo a little bit in the second half. We started to tire. Understandably so, and but we held out. Resolute, superb defending again. They didn't really cause Nick Pope any problems at all, to be honest. Again, they were building and building, but had to turn and go backwards a lot, which has been the kind of identity that Newcastle have had throughout this season. And we now share the top spot for the best defence in the Premier League, which is something that I think it's a long, long time since we've ever been able to say that, truly. But listen, guys, a massive thank you to everybody that watched the watch along today. We had just under 2,000 people watching live. We've already had nearly 30,000 views on the watch along, which is simply incredible. So thank you for that. Really, really thank you. And over 100 subscribers as well, which is just fantastic. So to all you new guys, welcome to this fantastic Toon Review family, and long may it grow. And as usual, guys, if you do enjoy tonight's show, hit the like button. If you're new, please do hit the subscribe button. Again, it's free to do so, and the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we record any videos. And if you'd like to donate to the Toon Review channel tonight, as usual, just hit that $ sign at the bottom of the live comments, and that will take you through that way. So thank you in advance for that. Right, first of all, just a reminder of what the teams were today. We lined up like this: Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier, Fabian Schär, Sven Botman, Dan Burn, Bruno, Longstaff, Joe Linton in the midfield, and we had a front three of Jacob Murphy, Miguel Almiron, and Calum Wilson. And of course, the big news for Newcastle United today was that ASM and Isak have had setbacks in their injuries, and it's possible that we won't see Isak until after the World Cup, and maybe that could be the same for ASM as well. So really, really, really torturous. But good news in a way that Shelvey was back on the bench today. That was unexpected. And of course, Willock was on the bench because he was suffering from an illness. But he was fit enough to start on the bench. And of course, he did come on later on in the game. Manchester United, well, they went with De Gea, Martinez, Ronaldo, plough-faced, tooth-faced bastard at number 8. Fred, Casemiro, Varane, Dalot, Anthony, Shaw, and Sancho. And of course, Marcus Rashford started on the bench. He did come on in the game. I believe that was their only change, wasn't it? I think they only made one change. I don't remember the others coming on. But never mind. That just proved how good we were today. So, yeah. Interesting lineup, Danielle. I mean, what did you think? I mean, obviously, you must have been gutted at the news that poor Craig Hope, he must have been like the Grim Reaper this morning, because everything he tweeted out was bad news.
Yeah, I think it's weird that it's happened the way it has, because I think Eddie made a kind of reference in his press conference on Friday to say everybody was fine as they were, but they still had training yet to come on Friday. And then look what's happened. Just happens to be the voodoo strikes, and they've tweaked their injuries a bit more. So yeah, I'm disappointed, but at the same time, it was pretty much the starting 11 that I'd gone for, bar Longstaff. I was expecting, obviously, you can't really kind of get any notice of any illness, so we were expecting Willock to start in midfield. But yeah, it was pretty much the starting 11 for me. Disappointing about Maxi and Isak, but we're playing well anyway, so thankfully we've got a little bit of depth. But yeah, pretty much what I expected in terms of first 11.
Now, Alex, I obviously spoke to you at half-time and full-time. When you heard the news about ASM and Isak, was it a case of frustration or anger, or how did you feel?
Neither, to be honest. It's just unfortunate. I think the way the team has played since Eddie Howe's took over, and the way we line up, and the different system and the passion. I know we can get more out of, the arguably the lesser players, and we did. We've got people who have been here for a long, long time, with like Murphy and Fabian Schär, putting in good shifts consistently and trying very hard for the shirt. Obviously, it's not as much quality without people like Maxi and Isak, and we could be taking more points potentially. That's up for debate whether we would or we wouldn't, but I believe we would. But I'm proud of the guys. All the criticism for Longstaff, again, he's been a big part of a lot of points for us this season. I mean, he got an assist, he got a goal, he's being dogged. He was caught out of position a little bit.
He was one of the players that really tired towards the end, though, because he got really sloppy towards the end. But listen, that's understandable. He was asked to play a big role today, and let's be honest, he did it. Man United, if we look at the saves Nick Pope had to make, it was one in the first half, I think, from Anthony with his legs, and I can't remember him having to make another save. Am I right? I'm pretty sure I'm right with that. So, again, the defence and, Longstaff, who was sitting just in front of them, Bruno, I mean, we'll come on to Bruno, but, Longstaff's got to take some plaudits somewhere along the line.
2 saves for Nick Pope.
2 saves.
I can't remember what the other one was.
No, I can't either.
No. Zishan, thank you for your £4.49 super chat, buddy. He says, evening peeps, Bugs Bunny was a disgrace. In fact, most of Man United were. On a positive note, really proud of the players, and my brother is fine and well. Well, that's good news, Zishan. Billy, I know you were commenting throughout the watch along, and it was when we lined up to start the game, I felt quite confident, and certainly the first 5 or 10 minutes, it was a bit both ways, and it seemed like exactly what we discussed in the preview, that it was going to be a case of both teams really going for each other.
Yeah, it was end to end, wasn't it? Excuse me, it was end to end stuff, and there was no kind of searching each other out where the weaknesses were. Both sides went straight at each other for the first 5 or 10 minutes, after which I thought we took control for the next 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fantastic first half performance, if I'm perfectly honest. The lineup was basically all he could have done because of illness and injury. He had no real choice about who he selected and who he didn't select. And I think that's why we saw Xavi on the bench, even though he's obviously nowhere near match fit. It's just a case of filling spots on the bench with senior players.
Yeah.
I thought first half, especially the 10 minutes onwards, I thought we were excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, it certainly were. Les says, different game, but how was Klopp allowed back on the pitch at full time? Are you allowed to do that after being sent off? I'm not sure what the rules are towards that, but then again, Jurgen has his own rules. But finally today, he was sent off, and rightly so. But there you go. Danielle, the first penalty incident, we may as well talk about that. I mean, Calum Wilson does well, breaks into the box, and he's fouled. For me, there is no issue there.
Cast iron for me. Cast iron all day long. To be honest, I can't tell you why it wasn't, because for me, we were screaming penalty, absolute penalty. And then I'm thinking, oh, not another man. Why is this keep happening to us in terms of decisions? But then I think as the game went on and more incidents like that happened, there was a couple of shouts for Man United as well as for us. And I think from the referee and VAR's perspective, it set the standard. So I think because we didn't get ours, they couldn't really give them theirs, because ours was cast iron for me. The Calum Wilson one, absolutely.
Well, I mean, look, you see Casemiro's leg go out. He catches it. See, when I first viewed that on the commentary, I didn't think it was a penalty. I just thought it was a coming together, and Calum was trying to get a penalty, which is fair enough. But then when I saw the replay, and I thought, hang on a minute, and then I saw all the comments coming in, and I thought, hang on, and then I looked at it again, and I thought, wow, stonewall penalty, and but it didn't even look like VAR took very long to actually look at it.
They said they checked it.
Yeah, but then Newcastle, I think Man United go down the other end. A shot deflects up and hits Sean Longstaff, goes out for a corner. Yet VAR spend about 2 or 3 minutes looking at that. And I'm thinking, are they looking at ways, Alex, to get a penalty for Manchester United? Because they're taking so long over a real strange one like that was nowhere near a handball anyway.
I think we were all right today with that. purely because they didn't give the Sancho penalty. There were a couple of ones that I've seen given. I'm happy there was a bit more consistency with it. Frustrating with also there was the huge shirt pull on Dan Burn, which was atrocious.
Well, yeah, I was going to come on to that. Yeah,
but I was overall, I was kind of happy with that refereeing today. I think he was letting them go at each other. Really,
better
really
than he has had.
He had to stop it a few times for some head injuries, but generally he tried to keep it going and let it be a game. There could have been penalty shouts at both ends, and he tried.
The one criticism I would have, though, Alex, over Pawson today is he didn't book players for blatant dives, and that really frustrated me.
Surrounding the referee and the diving, I think he needed
how Bruno Fernandes didn't get a card for dissent. I'll never know. I just never know.
Being as we're talking about fouls, it's worth me pointing out that there are a few Man United fans going around on the internet suggesting that we were being a bit dirty. You're 13 fouls to 11, so you've got more fouls than us. You're also 3 yellow cards to our 1, so no.
One of which should have been a red. The Anthony one should have been a red, in my opinion. Should have been a red. Straight.
Well, a lot of people. I remember that one, Billy. A lot of people agreed in the chat with you during the commentary that that should have been a red card. But listen, the diving around. I mean, the one by Anthony in the first half where he literally just brushed Dan Burns' hand and he went down like he'd been shot in the face was absolutely ridiculous. Bruno Fernandes, every time he got tackled, he would roll around and then realize that Man United were having to defend. So he'd suddenly get back up and run back. And every decision that Pawson made against Manchester United, Fernandes is in his face. And it's wrong. And this reminds me back of the times of the old Man United with Roy Keane's and that going at the referee. Stamp some authority down, show the yellow card to that buck-toothed motherfucker and get him sent off if he continues to do it. Because I'm not just saying this as a Newcastle United fan, I'm saying as a football fan, because he does it every game. He cries on, he whinges to the referee, and it's about time that one of these referees just says, look, I've had enough, you're booked. And if you go at me again, you'll get another yellow card, sunshine, and you'll be taking your teeth for a shower. So it's as simple as that. But, they've got to show a bit more authority. Warren says, great commentary as well, Paul. Couldn't find a good stream, so tuned in, really enjoyed it. Thanks, mate. Julie says, was great to see the Donkey Club sent off. Goatfather says, hello, Paul and the gang. Just watched the match again, and Man United have well and truly lost their identity.
Can I comment on that? Because what they say generally, I mean, I've been told for years that teams often mirror image to the captain. We've got professional, hard-working outfit as mirror images, Kieran Trippier, and they're a bunch of cheating cretins, basically, as their captain is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Mary says, Paul's commentary was absolutely amazing. Thank you. Ali says, Longstaff was the weak link today. The rest were decent centre-backs with the standout players for me. I don't think Longstaff was a weak link.
Harsh.
I think it's harsh.
I think, let's all think about Sean Longstaff for a minute. How many times have we seen him pass sideways or back? And I didn't see him doing that today. He was passing forward and being really positive and creative. So I think that's really harsh.
I think he is one of the weakest in our midfield, but that's still he's still putting in good performances.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did enough today.
Yeah, makes it look crucial. Last ditch challenges. Let's not forget that.
Indeed,
yeah, what a last ditch challenge that was, by the way. That was in the second half, wasn't it? It was on Anthony. One of the times that he simply burnt past Dan Burn. Just turned the afterburners on.
He kept up.
He was gone.
I mean, there was a lot of controversy when we let some of our midfielders go when we've been turning over this squad with the likes of Hayden and Hendrick and stuff. Does anybody think that they could have tried to step up the way Longstaff's done? I know Longstaff's had his issues, but ultimately, from where he was 18 months ago, he's a different player.
If anyone saw Hendrick play yesterday, no.
Oh, yeah. Look, the bottom line is, look, without being disrespectful, we know that the likes of Murphy and Longstaff, they're not going to be part of the bigger picture when we are, bringing in these, much better players. But listen, they're put in there to do a job, and I think Murphy did a job again today. He gave Dalot a really, really tough time, and he did okay. And I loved that bit in the first half when he broke forward, just shrugged off Casemiro. And let's not forget, he shrugged off a Champions League winner as if he wasn't there, just utterly out-battled them. And then, you could see what he was trying to do, just bend it into the bottom corner. He didn't get the hit on the ball right, obviously. It just went straight to De Gea. but you can't criticise for that. He was showing
No.
ambition and real drive to get forward, which was really good. So I think saying Longstaff was the weak link, I don't think he was. I don't think there was a
Well, they
weak
didn't
link.
score, so
they found it very. Listen, at the end of the day, Man United could not break us down. They just couldn't, and they resorted.
They
to
were getting
cheating, really.
angry,
Yeah.
weren't they?
They were getting
No
angry.
coincidence that Dalot came more into the game once Murphy had gone off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a real threat towards the end, Dalot. I thought it was a real threat, and that's only because Murphy had gone off, and Fraser to me was non-existent.
Fraser doesn't press at all.
But
No,
even
he
in
doesn't.
that last 10 minutes when we were sort of backs against the wall, they didn't break us down.
No.
You know, apart from obviously in the dying seconds, Rashford missing that header, which that was a huge let off for us. It would have been seriously harsh though had that gone in, but it was a terrible header from Marcus Rashford. But you know, that was the one time that we switched off. I think he got in between Botman and Matty Target, didn't he? And it just almost led to a goal, but it didn't. It went wide.
That Rashford had header as well. I mean, we'll look at it later, but we were actually leading the game for XG up until that header. That header dragged them in front right in the last second.
Mm.
But for 94 minutes, we were out. We had more expected goals than them because we had the better quality chances.
Yeah. Spike Milligan, thank you for your 20 quid super chat, buddy. He says, I think the game was about even. J7 was the closest to scoring. We'll come on to that in a second. Up there once this evening, all TTR family. Paul cracking commentary had us on the edge of our seats. Watch the highlights. How biased towards Manua. J7 unlucky, but we were robbed first half. J was great, and my stream was in sync with it. So Paul's great commentary fit right in. Thank you. Peter says, evening all. Hope everyone is okay. What a performance from the boys today. Good evening, Gareth. James says, evening, everyone. I'm proud of the team today. Happy with the point. Look, we said before, didn't we, that we said in the preview that as long as we come away, depending on how the game went, with something rather than losing, and we've come away with a point. We are still only beaten once this season, and you know the days of us going to Old Trafford, and you know what it's like. Sometimes we'll put a decent performance in the first half, and then we'll fold in the second and concede 3 or 4 goals. That never happened today, and that's the difference. That's where we've come from as a football team, Danielle.
We're undefeated in Manchester, full stop, this season, aren't we? I mean,
indeed, yes.
We gave City a good game, and now we've given United a good game. So for me, absolutely proud as punch of the lads. And what, you know, obviously we would have loved to like a last minute winner or whatever, or a little bit for Joe to have a little bit of luck on his side with them 2 shots. And it just happens like that. But I'm absolutely proud as punch with them. I think that, you know, considering we've got Everton on Wednesday, then we've got Spurs next Sunday. I mean, we've got a lot of games in a week, so proud as punch, and let's hope we continue into Wednesday's game with exactly the same.
Absolutely. Keith comes up with a good point here. We've not had a full strength team yet and still sit 6th in the Premier League and only beaten by the cheating Scousers. We will have a huge push from January, and any new signings will be a bonus. It's a very good point, that. Ian says, hi, everyone. Happy enough with a point. Great effort from the team. Poor officials, though. I don't think Pawson was too bad today. I really don't. I mean,
I think the linesman was quite poor.
Yeah, well,
he was either flagging too early or not flagging at all, and he needed to be a bit more decisive and confident in his own decisions. It was very poor.
Some of these linesmen are unsure whether to put the flag up or not, or whether to wait till the passage of play has finished, then raise the flag. It just seems
they changed the rules
ridiculous.
again at the start of the season, didn't they? To because they were in previous seasons, it was keep the flag down if there's any doubt, and now it's if you try and flag if you reckon it, but it was just weird, very inconsistent, especially with Ronaldo's line. It was I've got a big point. I've got a big gripe about that. I mean, I probably won't leave it till shame by Stato, but I was really frustrated with the way I feel like it was almost artificially generating pressure for them with these no goals and these basically cheating for them. It's that's why Ronaldo got booked for it, for the offside goal where the linesman doesn't flag and should, and then him trying to steal the ball when the free kick hasn't been taken and scoring. This is the ball's in the net twice. It's getting their fans up. It's making it seem artificially like they've got pressure that isn't actually pressure.
Yeah, you're right, Alex.
Good point.
And the commentary also fed on that. So from other sources, they were feeding on it, saying, the energy's up. Man United have started the second half better. No, they hadn't at all. It was offside and a non goal. I honestly feel that there was a lot of bias and fake stuff that was generating them a bit of pressure.
That's the thing. We expect that.
Well, it's bizarre.
Can I just say about Pawson as well? I mean, everyone's praised him, but he was looking straight at the Calum Wilson penalty incident, didn't give it. 5 minutes later, Miggy goes running down the line. Luke Shaw sticks his leg out.
Yeah, same
Miggy
foul.
goes over it, gives a free kick.
Yeah, same foul, free kick. Really just bizarre. Seattle Geordie, thank you for your $5 super chat. This is great show, guys. Manu missed 2 sitters. And what's up with that ditch around the ground? You could kill yourself falling down that
I know.
thing. I mentioned it in commentary. I think it is dangerous. And, Fabian Schär obviously took a tumble in the first half, slipped and went down. I mean, that is something that does need looking at because I can't recall any other ground having that.
It looked like originally when he went down, it looked like he'd done his ankle.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I thought he'd put his knee out.
I thought he'd done ligaments or something. I was very concerned.
When, thankfully, but what on earth? So
luckily
dangerous,
he didn't.
that mind.
Gary wants to know what we thought about Fraser when he came on for Murphy. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. Nah. And look, that's the one thing I'm frustrated with Eddie Howard is that he keeps giving Fraser these opportunities instead of Elliot Anderson.
I knew you were going to say that. I was thinking that at the time when the choice was made.
Danielle, it's just one gripe I have. You know, how many times are we going to let Fraser have these opportunities? And you've got a young kid on there who we know will give more than Fraser. Attacking wise and defensively, to be honest. When is he going to get his opportunity? I hope it's Wednesday against the Scouse Mackems. But, Fraser, for me, he just offers nothing. I mean,
he made that one break, didn't he, when he cut inside and he all had to do was lay, I think it might have been Chris Wood, all he had to do was lay him through and he
it was a terrible pass.
Absolutely
It was
awful.
A terrible pass. And,
the one positive move he did, he fucked up in the end anyway, so... Yeah, waste of space and squad.
There's a difference between Murphy and Fraser. We've criticised them both in recent months, but the difference is with Murphy is he's always had good underlying defensive numbers. He's had energy, he's had pressures, so he just needed to sort out his decision making a little bit more, and then he could be useful. And that's exactly what he's done. Whereas Fraser does not have those underlying numbers. He doesn't have the pressures. He doesn't have the energy. He doesn't have the stamina to go past 70 minutes from starting. So even if he improves his decision making, he doesn't have the underlying attributes necessary to play this system anymore.
100%.
It's not that we don't like him. It's just, I completely agree. Why not give Elliot Anderson a chance?
It's nothing.
He might make a mistake. He probably will make a mistake.
Yeah,
but we've got to overlook that. He needs minutes.
And I was going to say, like, when is he going to get his chance? Because if not in January, should we be looking at sending him on loan?
He might play. It's very possible he plays minutes in the next week or so.
Yeah,
or in
I think
the
he needs to, because I feel
Carabao
sorry for
Cup.
him. This is his chance. He needs to break in.
I think he starts in the Carabao Cup game. I think he will start, but that's not the point. He could have offered more than Fraser today, and I'm getting a bit peeved with Fraser keep coming on, and Murphy. You know what? He's taking his chance. Let's be honest. Eddie's obviously done some work with him, or the coaching staff working on his game and improving certain aspects to it. Because I thought that Murphy was very weak earlier on in the season when he kept coming on and he just offered nothing. However, I've seen a real change in Murphy over the last 3 or 4 games, which is clearly paying off from what they're doing in training. He's really, really working his ass off. And, like we said before, he might not be good enough for the future, for the long-term goal of where we're trying to get as a football club. But for the here and now, he is asked to he's asked to come into Maxi's position, which isn't easy in the first instant. But he's doing a job, and he's doing a job very well. And I thought he was good again today. Julie says, "Well, Bruno had much more class than the Poundland Bruno." Billy, Bruno, he wasn't. I don't think he was at it today. Now there could be many reasons for that. I said in commentary that his mind might be elsewhere with the situation with his partner about to give birth, etc. It's a very worrying time for him, obviously, if he's not at home. But I just think he just. I mean, I've seen some ridiculous comments on social media since the game saying, "Oh, our Bruno doesn't turn up for the big games. He goes missing." I'm staggered. As some of the
I didn't think he was. To be honest, I didn't think he was that bad. I thought there were spells in the game where he was dominating the game, but there was also spells where he went quiet.
He was linking up with Mickey well.
all along the game, he was getting feet in at the last minute, making little interceptions around our penalty box. Yeah, I thought he was okay. I didn't think he was superb as he always is.
I'm not saying he had a bad game. I'm just saying he wasn't up to his usual.
No.
There's a clear reason why it was different, and that was who's the missing player from that midfield that's been there in the last few matches?
Joe Willock.
It's Willock. It's not that Longstaff's done anything wrong, and it's not that Joe Linton's done anything wrong. It's just the balance of that midfield wasn't quite. Wasn't the person who would drop out there would be Longstaff or Willock, and then Willock is the little linchpin between Bruno and Miggy on that right, and does the driving runs, and Bruno gets a bit more space. It's nobody did anything wrong. It's just it's the player change because of an illness. That's all it was.
Yeah, second half when Willock came on, I think when he got he had that shot in the second half. I thought he hasn't got a clue where he is on the pitch.
I don't know what he was doing with that.
He must have thought that he was right near the corner of the goal, and he just wanted to lash it in the roof of the net, and he didn't realise that he was like 15 yards away from the goal. It was a bizarre thing to do, but he came on, and I thought he did well. Willock when he came on, he was getting involved in the game, and if he was unwell, then he certainly put that behind him and gave an effort for the amount of times that he was on the pitch. Julie J said Fraser did well, I thought. Julie, I would visit Specsavers. Vince says, hi lads and lasses, a bit disappointed with only a point, but that shows how far we've come in less than 12 months. Yeah, to be disappointed with only taking a point at Old Trafford is mental, really. Geordie Toon for life, evening lads and lasses. Still a good result, even though we were not at full strength. That was the difference today. If we had ASM today, he would have had a field day. I think
even Isak.
Well, yeah.
If we get to make the Isak sub instead of Chris Wood, that also.
I know, man. That's such a difference, isn't it? That would be such a difference for me, anyway.
Yeah. Sky, of course, Warren mentioned about Sky moving Liverpool 6th then 8th, and didn't mention us when showing the league table. But when have you ever seen Sky show a league table, right? It's normally the top 10. Am I right or wrong? It's normally the top 10, but because the Liverpool were in 11th, they showed the top 11. I mean, it is incredible.
Corrupt for me.
But that commentator that read the 6th and 8th out, I think that's a Sunderland supporter commentator from Sky, because he read out first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then he read Liverpool as 6th when it should have been us, and then he read Liverpool again as 8th. Awful from Sky. He needs a warning for that. It's not.
What's his name, Billy? Give him a good shout out just so everybody knows.
David Jones. Yeah, David Jones.
Well, he's done that on purpose, and he needs a professional warning. It's just it's not funny.
Unprofessional, isn't it? I think
it is.
James says, proud to say we have the best defence in the Premier League now, least amount of goals conceded, and also the least amount of games lost in the 2022-23 season. Yeah, we're up there with the top stats.
City have lost one, and we've lost one now.
Yeah. Good evening, TTR listeners and Mod Squad from a very tired and happy Australian. Thanks for joining us, Matt.
Speaking of Australia, Garam Qual today with a nice goal.
Yes, indeed.
Wow. I mean, that what a talent he's looking, by the way.
Tasty.
Every time you see him play, it's sort of, wow, you see what this guy's done. And it's definitely tickling the tonsils with a lion bar.
It is.
Undoubtedly. Right. I do want to talk about the centre-backs today because I thought they were just bloody magnificent. What a partnership they are forming, guys. I mean, Fabian Schär, we go on about, his bravery, etc., every single week. But this guy, again, takes a number of blows to the head today. One of them from our own Bruno, of course, running into him. But when I watched that in slow motion, I kind of giggled because it was just like something you see in a film, just like coming together, and then Schär just looking at Bruno thinking, "Oh, you twat," as he's falling down to the ground.
Bless him.
But just an absolute warhorse, Danielle, is Fabian Schär.
Absolutely. I mean, how many times has he had knocks in matches this season? I mean, he's always like. I think he went 2 or 3 games in a row where he had a head injury and he just carried on, and what a warrior. And I think you're absolutely right. What a partnership they've got in defence right now. He looked absolutely shot by the end of the game, mind. Like, I just thought you look absolutely shattered, and, rightfully so, but fantastic. What a player he is. What an example he is as a defender and centre-back. Brilliant.
Yeah. And of course, the other one, just
Double O Sven.
Double O Sven. I mean, Alex, just a magnificent display again. He just looks so. I mean, some of them balls he was pinging out, across the field today with his left and right foot was just a joy to watch.
Yeah, I mean, 5 out of 6 long balls. He had to be really switched on to Burn at left back and Anthony going around. He knew when to step, when not to step. Just the passing. It was a great demonstration of why we wanted a left-footed centre back to play in that role, because when they were closing angles down, he was finding the passes, and that. Yeah, it was difficult to play out, especially in the second half, but it was so helpful to have him on the pitch and just mucking in with it's basically he's doing all the Jamal Lascelles old work, and he's just a great technical footballer at the same time. Blocks, clearances, interceptions, but then he can also spray the ball about.
Indeed.
Great in the air, and it's just for a 22-year-old to understand the game like he does, to come and step. When does he need to leave his area to go and clean up a certain situation? When is it safe to do so? He makes the right call 9 times out of 10.
He does.
At most, possibly 10 out of 10 at the moment in terms of making his decision making. It's always on point. Just outrageous for a 22-year-old. It's insane.
And Billy's just magnificent in the air, isn't he? He's just he jumps for headers and he very, very rarely misses a header. He's just. It's a calm persona that he has when he's on the ball as well. He just doesn't panic when he's got forwards running at him. He just knows he knows straight away before he's even got the ball what he's going to do with it.
Yeah, it's just quality. He's just a Rolls Royce centre half, isn't he? Just so calm, fantastic footballer, fantastic passer with both feet, magnificent in the air, gets himself in front of shots and blocks things. But as for Fabian Schär, I was thinking about him earlier, and I thought if you put Fabian Schär in the O2 Arena with no seats, with no lights on, barefooted, and put a drawing pin somewhere in the O2 Arena, he'd stand on it. He's accident prone, isn't
Bless
he?
him.
Poor lad's accident prone. Poor lad. Every week he gets clattered by somebody. But what a brave line he is.
But it's because of his bravery, isn't it? He puts his head in where other defenders won't. And Botman does that to a certain degree as well. But Fabian Schär, the amount of times that he, the physio comes on to sort of, get the cold towel on his head. I mean, he must just take bottles of paracetamol at half time just to calm that head down.
He can probably do the concussion test on himself now. He knows
absolutely.
it well
enough. 100%.
Yeah, unbelievable. I mean, listen, hats off to the guy. I bang my head on the door and I'm on the sofa for 3 days during the week. He's just, as Billy says, he's just a lion.
And this is repetitive as well, though. It's not just once, it's like over and over and over.
It's constant.
Each time you're like, is this going to be the one? Like, is this going to be the one where he's going to have to go off? And then every time the camera goes back to him and he's getting up and you think, how is he doing this?
He looks like he's out on his feet. He's wiped out. He's knocked out. He just gets up. Roy, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is over there. Greetings from. Oh, he's in Dubai tonight. Okay, so he's getting about a bit. Absolutely proud of the team, including Longstaff. Well, that says something. If Roy's praising Longstaff, the defense is solid, and Burn was okay, even though he struggled with Anthony's pace, upwards and onwards. Dan Burn. I mean, listen, Danielle, he got burned quite a few times today. It was, pardon the pun, but. Anthony turns on those jets and he's gone. Yeah,
and I think that's what we discussed in the preview, wasn't it? About whether do we leave Burn in that position or do we bring in Target? But I think he still played well. I think yes. I mean, Anthony's difficult just with his pace. But I think Dan did well, and I think it wasn't. I don't think it was his best game but he still played well.
Is it me or does Anthony look like a proper heed the ball though? I mean, the guy looks like he's ready to.
He's another cheater though, isn't he? Another one.
Absolutely, but I mean, he didn't really do anything, Alex, today, did he, Anthony? He made them breaking runs, but nothing came of them.
Yeah, you can see he's got a lot of quality and he's going to be very good for them. But it was all very generic stuff. It was there. It's very evident that they've only just started clicking as a team. They weren't quite competent enough playing it around our area. They were getting pressed back, which was strange because they were getting praised by the commentary. It's like, oh, Man United are controlling possession and keeping it around and it's going backwards. Well, no, we're pressing them back to their own goalkeeper because they can't find a way in. It was very, very bizarre. But they're just not used to it. Anthony was trying to play. There was the occasional funny ball, kind of like that, the half space between Trippier and Shea that we've talked about quite a lot. They tried a few balls in there and it didn't really work. And it just wasn't working. They were trying to do a couple of intricate little flicks. Luke Shaw did a couple of back heels to Fred down the left wing that worked quite nicely. And Sancho was quite lively, but they just couldn't find that final ball because we were very disciplined. And the lads were very, very focused. And it's lovely that we can say that, because I remember a year ago we were saying we have to focus more and this player's drop focus and we need, but now it's pretty much every match apart from that Fulham goal that we conceded. It's pretty much been focus all around, really. Nobody's really switched off. Most of the goals we conceded have been quite unfortunate, like the Dan Burn handball for the penalty, and then the goals from City. We've not conceded any stinkers. It's the Fulham one's the only one where we've switched off. We've been very defensively sound, and Anthony's going to be a great player, but you can't just rely on raw talent. They need to have good build up and good coaching, and I don't think Man United are there yet. And we did well enough.
No, you've seen who the coaching staff are. Steve McLaren.
Steve McLaren. Look, I'm so much more confident in our defence. I just, we've been known as a team to concede a lot of goals over the years. But to be this organised, and look, Lascelles came on, and I think he handled himself really well because he was put under pressure straight away. He came in with 5, 6, 7 minutes left to go. Possibly longer, but he stood up to them. He did really well. He was thrown into the deep end where Man United were really pressing for that winning goal, and I thought he did very, very well again. So hats off to Lascelles, because that can't be easy going into that situation with that long in the game left, and I thought he defended when he needed to very well. But you know what? It's one of those things. For us to be disappointed that we only got a point. And seeing Man United, the channels and the remarks that they're making after the game, it's bloody hilarious, to be honest, because I can't think of a more hated team. I mean, it's not just Newcastle United, they hate Man United. There's so many social media comments I've seen from a lot of people today saying, cheaters and just a disgrace to football and things like that. And very kind comments about Bruno Fernandes, of course, as you'd expect. Alan says, and I think Shea was overlooked constantly by Brucey Boy. Him and Potter today, solid as Gibraltar rock, something Paul Ditchburn would say.
But he can't play in a back four.
Yeah.
Yes, he can. Very well.
Samsonite says, mostly disappointed that Fraser came in instead of Anderson. Yeah, I think that was a mistake. And an automatic -1 to Howe's overall score. Stu says, maybe our owners should invest in the best medical staff money can buy, just with sheer amount of injuries we constantly suffer from. I just think it's unlucky. And listen, it's possibly one of those things where we're going through a voodoo, as Danielle says, that we maybe need to get the priest in. I might take some holy water up myself and do it.
I'll come with you. I'll bring a Bible.
We'll film it and just that'll be the end of it.
We're quite fortunate we have got the World Cup, to be fair, because the players who've got the niggles are the ones not going to the World Cup. So Sweden aren't going, so Isak's not going. He can recover. Maxi's extremely unlikely to get a France call up. So, these guys that need a bit of time to reset and get their fitness back up, they've got that time. So we're quite fortunate the way the season's panned out that we can, especially if we make a January signing or two, we can really attack the second half of the season.
Absolutely.
Toon Dave says, evening all. Fantastic watch along earlier, Paul. Thank you. Did detect a wee slight hatred of the bucktooth tractor plough Fernandes. Really well earned point today, and the lads played their hearts out. It was good, Billy, because we can't. The effort from everybody is at peak level now. We're not seeing any of the start 11. When Eddie sends them out, we're not seeing anybody at sort of 3/4 pace or anything like that. They are giving everything they've got.
Yeah, they do. They put themselves into the ground week in, week out. You never see anyone slacking, really. It's phenomenal that the management and the coaching staff have installed this professionalism into them. Bearing in mind where we were 12 months ago and the way we were going around games then, it's phenomenal turnaround, really. It's great to see also. You want to see the players fighting for the shirt, fighting for the badge.
Absolutely.
And making the fans proud of them. They do that week in, week out now, so we can't complain, can we?
Jason says, Longstaff put some work in today. Covering tackles were immense. And I think that's what people miss. You know, when they say, "Oh, Longstaff was a weak link" or whatever, they don't really, pick up the amount of sort of tracking he does of the players, and he certainly did that in the second half when he tracked Anthony's run when he got past Dan Burn. He tracked him all the way back, made a brilliant sliding tackle. Because let's face it, tackles like that are very risky to make in the box, certainly against Manchester United when they're throwing themselves to the floor left, right, and centre. But he timed it really, really well.
I'll tell you what, I've got a label for Sean Longstaff. I think he's becoming the new Perch. I genuinely do. He's becoming a jack of all trades. He fills in. He's not tremendous at anything, but he can fill in at 8 or a 6, put in a shift, and he'll try his best. I think he's the new James Perch. I honestly do.
Not bad. Munch's great result today. Would have taken that all day and finally got my away top. It only took 2 months.
Jesus wept.
Oh, we're not going into tops again. No, absolutely no. Cons83 says, evening all. Thought at times we pressed well and they struggled with that. At times we were very wasteful giving the ball away. Still a good result. I thought the pressing in the first half was a lot better than the second, Billy.
Yeah, it was. Manchester United stepped up again second half. You've got to give them credit for that. They looked a much more dangerous outfit. Yeah, they still couldn't break us down. But the press was something they struggle with week in, week out, and they struggle with it again today. De Gea's pretty much similar to the Pope, and his clearance kind of sometimes lets them down. So I thought the press worked really well, especially in the first half. Like you say, second half it was a bit less, but that's as the players tired, I guess, and the players that came on just don't press. Fraser doesn't press, does he really? So no. Chris Wood certainly doesn't, so you're not going to get that press.
Chris Wood's mobility is terrible, isn't it? I mean, let's be honest. He can't run. He just
doesn't really jump either. You know, if there's an aerial ball coming in, he doesn't really move there either.
Look, I think he was put on because Calum Wilson can't play 90 minutes at the minute, which is
we need him for Everton. So
and I think he put him on for a more defensive purpose more than attacking, because obviously he had a feeling that Man United would press for a winner late on. And those substitutions kind of said to me that Eddie's settling for a point here, but also that we do not lose the game. And I think he put Chris Wood on for that extra sort of defensive, clearance and with headers and things like that.
He managed to draw a foul that was quite useful. It gave us a
bit of time.
Seconds of time.
Foxy says, away from home, missing key players with a clean sheet. I can't complain at all. Thought we deserved a penalty first half, but maybe the Sancho one was too. Let's make sure we get those 3 points on Wednesday now.
I know who saw little Tiny Toes having a tantrum in the goal yesterday for Everton. Yeah. Oh my God, it was full on Paddy, wasn't it? I love it. Can't wait for Wednesday.
By the way, England skipper again throwing himself to the floor. Something's got to be done about this diving, because it's starting to rear its ugly head again with a lot of players doing it. Maddison did it yesterday as well. Obviously got booked and is now suspended. That was a clear dive as well. Look, it's got to stop, and they need to take a more harsh approach to these well-known cheaters that keep throwing themselves to the floor.
I think it's the reason Sancho didn't get his penalty today, because he made such a ridiculous dive of it. It went up in the air. And
I mean, what's with it? He went, like that, halfway through the air.
Couple of somersaults and a pike. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
What a pathetic effort that was.
It was Tom Daly-esque, wasn't it?
I mean, they can't even fall to the floor properly, these guys. No. Steve says, can't believe the Man U fans online claiming we were the dirty team, diving and faking injury, that Ronaldo's goal should have stood and that they should have had 3 penalties. Utterly deluded.
The referee still had his hand up, and as soon as Ronaldo touched the ball, blew his whistle instantly. He said, stop, no. So how would it have stood? The referee instantly blew that whistle as soon as he touched the ball.
Yeah, it's pathetic. And it's again, it's all this entitlement, Danielle, that they think they're entitled to everything.
To them, they've lost this game. That's what it is. They feel like they've lost it because they're still living years ago where we would go to Old Trafford and they'd absolutely batter us. Well, this is the Saudi Mags. You know what I mean? We're not Newcastle United of the oldie days where, we're easy 3 points. We're going to come and we're going to press you, and you're going to have to really, really work hard to get past our defence, and they just couldn't do it. So guess what? Keep crying, because it just makes us stronger. And when we get you at St. James's Park, second half of the season, we are going to batter you, my friends. Batter you.
When you consider how much money they've spent on this as well, because they were going to, if they hadn't have spent this money, they were going to be down sort of 10th, lower than 10th. They were awful. They've had to bring in, Anthony, Casemiro, Martinez. They've spent a lot of money to try and make sure they can retain European spots because they were woeful. So this is them. Today's score was either going to go 0-0 or 1-1. Let's be honest, it was one of the two. And they've spent considerably more money than we have trying to drag it back up. So they can't even use money as an excuse because they've put so much into that team, and it's better. They look like they've got something there, but it's still not incredible. It's nothing like the top end of the table.
Correct.
Yeah, indeed. Malcolm says, even though great commentary, Paul, but most entertaining thing for me was your rants. So funny. I did lose it a few times with certain things going on in the game, including one plough-faced, toothed morpho. Evening, Jack. Hope you're well, mate. Samsonite says, judging on the players' level in general, Longstaff exceeded every expectation we could reasonably have to him. A solid performance.
Agree.
The Clone Lad says, surprised Anderson didn't come on for Murphy. Fraser is not impressed this season.
Unless he's got a Scotland top on.
Yeah, put a Scotland top on him. I don't know what that is with him. Tangy, good evening. Great commentary, Paul, this afternoon. The best comment was in the final seconds of the match. My arse is twitching like a rabbit's nose. It certainly was. John says, did today support the club's policy on transfers of looking at players' character as much as football? For example, not sure Bruno Fernandes or Liverpool's Nunez would be a good fit for us.
No, you're absolutely right.
I certainly don't want a player like Bruno Fernandes for Newcastle. I just, if you notice, I seen a comment earlier, actually. If you notice, guys, Kieran Trippier, whenever there's something going on with the referee, he pushes all the Newcastle United players away. He pushes them all away, and then he speaks to the referee. And it's like, right, shut up, back off, and I'll go and speak to the referee. And that's the kind of player we want. We don't want
a gang mentality, though.
Nah,
all these big clubs, it's just like, right, big clubs. They just try and bully that way decision and intimidate, and it's completely wrong. And it needs to be dealt with accordingly. So I think the authorities need to be looking at this because
100%.
We see it at even VR decisions now when the referee goes over to the screen and you can see them surrounding the referee at the back. And I just think it's wrong. It's intimidating. It should not be allowed. There should be decent punishments for that kind of behaviour. I don't like it.
Stephen makes a good point. Longstaff seems like an easy target for those fans who've got to find a scapegoat. He had a good game today. Look, I agree, and I think it was the same with Willock. Those two seem to be the two standout players that, if things not quite right, they get the blame. Now, look, Sean Longstaff, as we've said at the start of this show, probably isn't going to be part of the in a couple of years' time when we're bringing in huge name players, which we will do. Let's be honest. He's not going to be at that level, but he's been asked to do a job now, and I think Alex has made a point of it. He's done it, and he's done it really well, and probably to the best of his ability. It's not his fault that he hasn't got the ability of a Bruno.
But I think at the same time, we went to Old Trafford and we got a point. So
exactly.
I don't understand. I'm
chuffed to bits. It's very rare that we come away from Old
Trafford. I love to watch them cry.
Exactly. Listen to them all. Listen to them all crying in the milk. You know what I mean?
We're
sitting there having the milk and cookies
proud
tonight back down in London, crying their eyes out.
We're proud of our team.
By the way,
them saying that.
Did anybody else notice the thousands of fans that were leaving the stadium with 10 minutes to go?
Pathetic.
10 minutes to go. Their team is pressing for a winner, and they all fucking leave. And I said in comedy, it's to catch the trains and get back down to London at a decent time. Because they're unbelievable, man. Bill, good evening. He says all players are working for each other. It's really great to see. Let's be real. Sancho, no call, was a penalty giveaway and shite, man. No way. I'm not having it. If that's a penalty, then we should have had 2 in the first half. It's as simple as that.
We should have. Yeah, we should have. But I think Sanchez wasn't a penalty. But if he'd fouled properly, they'd probably got it. Yeah.
But that would have been a disgrace if our 2 weren't given in the first half. So
you've got to give ours if you give that. There's got to be consistency with it.
I agree.
D says Anthony had clashes with Botman and Joe Linton and got annoyed telling them to get up. But when Byrne did it to him, he started rolling around the pitch. He's another Bruno Fernandes. Yeah, but did you notice there was one, I think it was the first half or maybe the second, that he went over, there was a throw in and he had a little bump with Joe Linton. And Joe Linton just turned, I kept a really close eye on it when I was watching it. And Joe Linton kind of just looked at him as if he just growled at him, and Anthony just made way straight away. He wasn't having anything of it. And, I thought that was class. But yeah, again, it's different when it's them. Anthony, Bruno Fernandes, Ronaldo, they'll complain and complain, but when it's them, it's a different kettle of fish. They'll roll around. That one that Anthony did when he was rolling around after he just basically brushed the hand of Dan Burn was utterly pathetic.
Very dramatic.
It's just
I think he should have been booked for that. That was it was very clear that was over the top.
Yeah. Johnny Tune for Life says Cher was outstanding today. Danielle, we played City at home, not in Manchester. Only saying nothing more. No, but she means against the Manchester teams, not in Manchester.
Yeah.
Sammy says unbeaten is a good record when you look at it. We need to win games in a row before the World Cup, and I think after the World Cup we can make some changes in the squad.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Look, I think we'll be looking to pick 3 points up certainly on Wednesday against Little Arms. I just want to thump them. I really do want to thump them.
Well, Man
Spurs
United
away
got
next
Tottenham,
Sunday.
so we could leapfrog Man United if they struggle against Spurs, and we can actually beat Everton. Then we go above Man United. So
I think the Spurs game away is going to be a difficult game, but they're not firing in all cylinders either. They got a lucky penalty against Everton, and then really the Javier goal at the end was strange to say the least. I mean, I think Pickford should have saved that. I don't know what you guys think. I just think, it's just Little Arms again. I mean, it was just crazy. But I think we'll beat Everton. I think we will beat them. And I think we can give Tottenham a really good game again next Sunday. And I'm looking forward to seeing how we do against these top teams now, because we are one of them. Keith says, great commentary today, mate. Good result for us. And what you like about Man United to get a point is a step forward. Not long until they fear us. Well, no, they've been in a game today. There's no doubt about that, which always makes me smile. Charlie says, I love Mark Goldbridge, but how he can complain about their penalty shouts are just ridiculous. Look, the thing is with Mark Goldbridge is he's a Manchester United fan, okay? And, turn it around. Listen to my commentary. It's very Newcastle orientated. You watch his watch-alongs for Man United. He's very Man United orientated. He's going to be. But to be fair to Mark Goldbridge, he did say some really positive things about Newcastle United before the game today, and which was good to hear. And I like Mark. I think he's a cracking lad, and he's done really well on his channel, and he's now branching out to talk shite and everything like that. So I haven't got a problem with Mark Goldbridge, but what I do find funny is that they keep talking about these penalties, Billy, and they keep going on about them and how they should have had this and that, not realising how lucky they were.
Well, of course, they're the most one-eyed supporters in the land, aren't they? They've always been, they've never been any different, have they? Let's be honest. Everything's Manchester United orientated. Everything should be all about Manchester United. They want to be on the telly every week. They want to be top of the league all the time. That's why they support them. It's all self-entitlement. I
think a lot of them are still upset that the late great Dave Harrison sent that bus to Jedburgh. He sent them to watch the signs for Jedburgh, and they'll find the parking space. Still think they've got a gripe with us. Ken says, hi guys, I would just like to raise a point, maybe controversial, but I thought Miggy tired quicker than normal. Don't be surprised if he goes down with this illness in camp.
He supposedly got it now, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah,
there was rumours that he wasn't going to play, wasn't there? I mean, it was like everybody wasn't going to play before the game. I've seen things about Botman. I've seen something about Burn.
Yeah, there's a couple of Twitter accounts being a bit, if you're supposedly one of us, stirring the pot is not, it's not a way to be.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, there's obviously something going round. Maybe it's something similar to what you had earlier in the week, Billy. And maybe that's what's happening. But it's what can you do if somebody's not well? But good on Miggy. He went out, did his best. That'll do for me. Yeah, absolutely.
Look, I mean, it's fair to say that Miggy wasn't at his all-out best today, but I tell you what, the running he did again, he was coming across to the left-hand side to help out. He was on the right-hand side. He was doing a lot of pressing again up front. And you have to think, football is not all about being on the ball. Football is about the work you do off the ball as well. And not a lot of people, focus on that because they focus on the team with the ball. They don't look at what players do when we don't have the ball. And Miggy, is just all over the place. He is running his heart out. He's closing goalkeepers down. You know, the goalkeeper then makes a pass to the right back. Miggy will sprint out there to try and get there. The same with Murphy today as well. We pressed, and there was a couple of times that we won the ball again just outside the Man United area by pressing. And, you know, De Gea, there's a couple of times he just kicked the ball straight out of play because he was pressed. So you've got to take into account what these guys are doing off the ball as well as on it. Megan with Master says, watched a bit of Goldbridge, watch along today. Shocking. Absolutely garbage. How on earth has he gained all that success with such dull content? Well, that's your opinion, but I don't agree with that. You know, I like Mark, and I think he does a good job, and he certainly he works his ass off. You know, he goes live twice a day with Man United news. He does watch-alongs. He puts the effort in, does Mark, whether you like him or not. You know, but you're not going to agree with everybody every time. He's obviously got his own thoughts on the Manchester United side of things, just like we have on the Newcastle one. Stephen says even if the pass went through, Chris Wood would have done nothing. Yeah, look,
he might have got brought down in the box. You just don't know.
He could have. Yeah. Stephen says we've been very unlucky losing our forward players to injuries, and they would turn draws into victories. I really don't disagree with that. I think we have. There seems to be, Danielle, a lot of flack coming Calum Wilson's way lately because people are saying that he's not performing. I mean, what do you make of that?
That's a garbage. That's crap. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I've not seen any of it personally, but if that is the case and people are saying that, what do you want me to do? What do you want? What's the alternative to Calum Wilson? Who do we bring on? Chris Wood just to sit there? Like, I don't understand. We should be getting behind Calum. He's a good player. We missed him so much when he was out. And every time he goes on and he has an injury and has a period of time off, then we miss him so much. And he's so central to everything we do. I just think that's a crap for me.
Yeah, I agree.
If he gets the service, he'll score the goals, and that's it for me.
But this is always going to be the argument with Calum Wilson. But you think the physicality that he brings to the game as well, Alex. He's very physical, and he's there to sort of, you know, if we're not putting the balls in front, he's still working his ass off and causing havoc for the centre backs.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of the chances we got from set pieces and in the box today, space was created because defenders and other players were having to pick up people like Wilson because they've got to respect him, because if you give him space, he's clinical. And he should have had a penalty as well. So I don't think there's anything wrong with him. People need to lower their expectations. He's going to score what he scores. You know, he's scoring pretty much every other game at the moment, every 2 games. That is a phenomenal scoring rate for strikers. I know we've got Haaland and stuff in the league, and people love Messi.
He's an enigma, though. I mean, you're not going to find a Haaland every.
Strikers don't score that. For a striker to be scoring every second game, that is a brilliant return rate. So for us to have had him pre-takeover and is immense. We're not going to score every match. And he's not going to score every match. He's going to have off days. And he's going to have days where he plays well and still doesn't score, as we saw against Brentford. It happens.
Paul Gallant says, thanks for the shout out, Paul, but I was listening cooking. Yes, well, Paul, I'd like to apologise because there was a troll in this afternoon basically pretending to be you and putting spoilers in all the time. And credit to Julie and the mods. They ratted them out and got rid of them. But there was one point I looked down and I saw Paul Gallant and putting the scoreline in, and I said, stop it or you're getting thrown off. And it wasn't actually you, Paul. So I do apologise for that. But obviously,
it's not your fault, though. You can only go on what
he
you
had
say.
the same profile picture and the same kind of writing in the lower case and everything. And but obviously the mods were quick on that and got rid of him. So that's what happened there. There was a reason for it, maybe. Francisco was in the house. Good evening, lads and lass. Great job today, Paul. Chatting mods. What we need in January is fullbacks, a backup right back and a starting left back and a right wing support. At least that's my view. Love you all. Billy, do you agree with that?
I certainly think we might need a kind of loan deal for a right back to back up Kieran Trippier. I'm not sure about the left back. We've got 4 in the club. Another one surely is not really needed. But right wing certainly to help Miggy. Maybe another midfield player. But I wouldn't be looking for left back. We've got 4 in the club now, wouldn't we?
I'd go for another left winger, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they'll be looking at players already.
Just for Maxi back up, because when there's such
Indeed.
I think there's such a gap in quality between, and I'm not slagging him off just before the
No.
trolls start clipping stuff. In terms of from when you go from Maxi to Murphy, it is a drop in quality, and I know Murphy's played well recently, but he's not Maxi, is he?
Yeah,
So
exactly. You know,
you know.
we're not being awful there, but there is a quality difference. Of course, there is. Some
And when you
players
consider how
have
well
more quality
Maxi
than
was
the others.
playing,
Yeah. Maxi was pretty much right on it when he got injured, which is a shame. You've got some graphics for us, Alex?
Ooh.
yeah, just a few things. Just to show you the expected
Before you
goals
do
for the
that,
game.
matey, we've just had a £10 super chat in from John Clifton. Thank you very much, John. He says, awesome channel. Watched from first lockdown. Got my dad on it as well. Good results today. 3 signed in January and 3 in the summer, and we are top 4 next year. Massive. Up the tune. Well and truly, John. Sorry, Alex, go on.
Yeah, well, you can see the data here that their expected goals 0.91 to 0.88, and you can actually see down here the Rashford shot right at the end of the match gave them 0.34 xg. So we were ahead of them for the entire match on xg. They had a few more shots. Some of them were quite far out, and we did fine. More fouls, 2 offsides. We had equal corners. There wasn't that much in it. You know, the possession. I mean, they didn't do as much with it as they should have done. And then, so where is my tactics board? So this just shows, for all the Man United fans saying that we stuck 11 behind the ball, these are the average positions of both sides. So I've put both of them on. We're not 11 behind the ball. As you can see, we've got 5 players in their half here. We've got Miggy, Wilson, Joe Linton, Murphy, Byrne. And then they've got 5 players in our half. And then we've split it 5-5-5-5. It's split. It's basically mirrored. They're trying to pick up each other generally, you can see. And this is average positions. This is over the whole game. So this even takes into account when we had to try and sit a bit deeper. These are still the average positions. Dan Burn is still in their half on average. We did fine. We did not stick 10 men behind, 11 men behind the ball. We tried
you know what?
very hard.
That's just bitterness from the Man United fans, to be honest. It really is bitterness.
I mean, you can see it wasn't quite the back 3. It went a bit. Burn played a lot more as a left back than he did going into this 3 at the back shape. It was very different. And I do want to check the sofa score because I want to show you guys.
Thank you, Sammy.
The match is gone as well. Fabian shares stats because we've not actually looked at them. If it wants to bring up the Man United game, that'd be lovely. There we go. So it is worth having a look at Fabian shares actual stats because he was immense. Scroll right into it. There we go. And if we scroll down, so 7 clearances, 2 blocks, 3 interceptions. That is phenomenal defending numbers. And then if we go down to his passes as well, now that is very, 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 very tidy. 31 out of 34 passes and 91% passing accuracy, 6 out of 7 long balls. Again, this is not the £37 million centre-back. This is the £3.5 million centre-back who's been at the club for a long time, and he's still producing numbers of that standard against European challenging teams in the league. And it's just worth having a look at just how tidy his numbers also are compared to Botman's. And then another person who has not been talked about too much today in his footballing capacity, but Trippier was excellent, considering he was being tasked with also kind of being a midfielder in attack. He made a couple of really important challenges in the box, used his experience really well, and was great with his 3 interceptions, 1 tackle, and on the ball as well.
Did anyone notice how calm he was when that, in injury time at the end of the game, there was a crossfield ball came across, and how calm he was, just nodding that back to Nick Pope. Just incredible.
Well, his delivery today was a lot better as well. His corners and set pieces and balls into the box. Hence why he's been credited with 4 key passes today, because he was causing some issues. And I would like to show the Premier League table just because, for all what Man United say, we have our goal difference is better than theirs by 10. We've scored 4 more goals than they have and conceded 6 fewer. They've also lost 2 more games than us. And they're fortunate to be ahead of us in the table. So this looks very, very nice. And as we said earlier,
look
they've
at that.
got Tottenham next.
6 draws. Can you imagine? We just got a couple more wins out of that, and we'd be up challenging Tottenham and Man City. Yeah. It's bizarre.
Well, the Crystal Palace goal has been confirmed. They apologised. that is the one which is we can 100% say with certainty we deserve 2 extra points. So we should be on 17 with a +9 goal difference above them, but unfortunately we're not. So it is what it is.
It is, but it's a fantastic position to be in, which is rather good. Guys, we've got around 900 watching tonight, which is fantastic. Thank you again for your amazing viewing figures. We really do appreciate it. So if you are enjoying the show, it would be lovely if you all just went and hit that like button now. It's just a click of a button. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, please do hit that subscribe button. It is free to do so, as so many people have today, which is fantastic for us. It really is. It blows our mind. It really does. And of course, the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live or we upload. If you want to contribute to the channel like so many wonderful people have done tonight, just hit that $sign at the bottom of the live comments, and that will take you through that way. And of course, we do offer some merchandise, and this is where you can pick it up from.
So let's get down to business.
I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me if you like it. Tell me if you like it now. I've been waiting, think I wanna make that move now. Baby, tell me how you like it.
Let's get down to business.
So there you go, the toonreview.co.uk if you want some merchandise, guys. Right, now it is time for the player ratings. Now, Danielle, you missed it last week, but we are now going to each give our player ratings for each player instead of going round.
Very good.
Yes, whatever that player average. Well, it was Billy's idea, so he must take the credit for that.
Oh, well done, Billy.
So whatever he finishes with on average is his score. So we will start off with Nick Pope. And I'm going to start it off with a 7 for Nick Pope. I think he did what he had to do. He wasn't under tremendous pressure today. He was called upon once that I can remember. I don't know where the 2 shots on goal have come from, 2 saves, but that's just the way it is. And I think it was a 7. I can't give him any higher because he didn't have saves to make. I mean, it just a little bit bizarre. Some people are saying 8 in the comments. Some people are going with 7. But for me, it was around a 7. Arturo, thank you very much for your €20 super chat. Really kind, buddy. Thank you very much. Billy, Nick Pope?
Yeah, I'll go with a 7. The one mistake he made, of course, when he came rushing out and Rashford rounded him and crossed it across where, was it Fred that missed the open goal? That's
well, hats off to Fabian Schär again for putting him off there. By the way,
super.
You know, let's not make too much light of that challenge because that put him right off. And for me, Fred plays much better when McTominay is not in the side. I don't know. It just I think Fred looks a decent player when McTominay is not there. But that's by the by. It was a very, very good challenge by Fabian Schär.
Although we kept Fred, I mean, I've noted this in my notes. 3 out of 12 duels for Fred. We really kept him off that ball. He did okay on the ball with a few driving runs, but 3 out of 12 duels is quite low for him. We did manage to keep him.
I think he gets forward a lot more when McTominay is not in the side.
Yeah.
Which
the 2 saves that Pope had to make, by the way, one was the one with his legs, and the other one was a shot straight at him, which he kind of got down middle of the goal and took it in his midriff on the floor. You know, one of them diving forward saves.
Yeah.
I thought he did everything he had to do perfectly well, apart from that one bit where he kind of got landed by Rashford. But 7 out of 10 for me.
Alex?
Yeah, I would agree. I think an 8 is a little bit too high. 7's maybe a bit too low, but we don't do halves on the channel, so I'll give him a 7. Distribution was fairly tidy.
Every week, it's like you're having a gripe at me. Every week you say, "Well, he wasn't quite a 7, but he wasn't quite in. I can't give a half because we don't do halves on this channel." It says it every bloody week.
But I genuinely, in my heart, feel like 8 is a little bit of a stretch, but 7 I feel like is a bit harsh. But I'm going to go with a 7. I can't give him the higher one. Distribution was better. Made the saves when he needed to. Stayed focused. It was good. It was tidy. Did what he needed to. It's got to be a 7.
Well, by the way, Blair says you know Ronaldo's goal should have counted.
No, the ref blew the whistle. The referee blew the whistle. Shut up. Go
Smallest
away.
violin in the world. Go away.
Absolutely, smallest violin, and just for you.
Referee blew the whistle. Make sure you watch it with sound on this time.
Still going.
You sure that was the music and not you then?
It could have been Billy. It could have been. I've had a Sunday dinner, a lovely pork dinner.
Sprouts.
My beautiful fiance there, but it's churning a little bit.
I've made a stew today, everybody.
Wow.
Mm,
Wow.
beef and ale.
Anyway, Nick Pope, Danielle.
7 for me. I loved the save with his feet. Thought it was really important for us. In Nick Pope special. Other than that, he didn't really have a lot to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, 7 for me. Fine.
Okay, so it's a 7 for Nick Pope. Alex, we'll start with you on Kieran Trippier.
I'm going to give him a 9. I thought his defending was a lot better than it's been in recent weeks. I think he stepped up with the defending a little bit more, showed really good experience, not giving away any penalties. He was really careful with his timing. Deliveries were much improved. 4 key passes is mental, and his leadership qualities and being the captain and just shepherding. He's effectively shepherding sort of the midfield and the defense. He's kind of given instructions to two lines of players. It's just incredible. Definitely deserves a 9.
Mark says, please, Alex, you have to keep saying we don't do halves. Don't let him bully it out of you.
Yeah, stick to your guns.
Fair enough. Arturo, thank you for another 20 euros made. Very kind of you. He says, I love NUFC and this channel. Well, thank you very much for your kindness, Arturo. It's pretty much 8s and 9s that are going in for Trippier at the minute. Danielle?
9 for me. It's not just he's the way that he plays his game. He's a fantastic player, but he's the captain in him. He's just amazing. Like, you just see him bossing the game straight away, and he's leading the team from the front, which is so very important for us. So a 9 from me for
Fair enough. I'm going with a 9 as well, simply echoing what you guys have said. No doubt for me. Billy?
Yeah, 9 out of 10 to me also. We all know that Jadon Sancho's got more pace than Kieran Trippier. Yeah, he was virtually non-existent for the whole game. Kieran Trippier's got the intelligence, not the pace.
His positional sense is just fantastic at times, Kieran Trippier.
He's the best right back in England by a country mile.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Andrew says, I'd have sent Ronaldo off for being a complete dick, wasting everyone's time and then whinging on about it. Total dick. I don't think there's a rule for sending somebody off for being a dick, though. But
there should be one, because then they'd have no players.
Yeah, look. To be honest, Bruno Fernandes, the best thing he can do is at the end of the season attach himself to the back of the tractor and help dig up Manchester United's Old Trafford pitch to relay a new one. Just plough the fucker. I can't stand him, by the way. I don't know whether anybody's noticed that, but there you go. So Kieran Trippier gets a 9. We'll move to the other side now with Dan Byrne, and Danielle, we'll start with you on this one.
I'm going to give him I'm going to give him a 7.
Okay.
I don't think it was his best game. I don't think he fits that position. I don't think it's his natural position. I feel like he struggled a little bit today. However, saying that, I'm being kind of super picky about Dan Byrne. I don't think he had a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. But definitely not his best one for me, especially in that defence.
Okay. Billy?
I'm going to give him a 6, I think. I think he was kind of overwhelmed by Anthony at times. I thought he did better going forward, funnily enough, this week. But defensively,
he showed some silky skills in the second half, didn't he? Getting forward on the left wing there.
He absolutely did.
He lost the ball eventually, but it was quite funny to watch, actually, trying to, with his size 15 boots, trying to, dribble. It was funny.
I thought he should have been brought off a little bit earlier, actually, and targets to come on a little bit earlier. But you can't fault him for effort, and he's not a left back, so I'll give him 6 out of 10.
Yep. I'm going with a 6 as well. I had him marked down as a 6. I think, he's around the 6 or 7. He was steady away. But, just there was a couple of times that I thought, just a little bit dodgy. But listen, as we said last week, some of these players are not always going to get 8s and 9s and 10s. There is, every footballer has a middle of the road day. And I think it was a middle of the road day for Dan Byrne. So, yeah, it's a 6 from me. Alex?
I'm going to give you a controversial one. I'm going to give him a 5.
It burns.
And let me preface this with saying I don't think it's his fault necessarily. I think he's being asked to play in a role that's he can play, but is very tough for him. So I'm not pinning it on him. He has the willing talent to do better. It's not on him. But it wasn't all there today. With it was just a mismatch. But you know, we mentioned this before. Howe wanted to play this system. I thought he was going to try it again, and he had to do it again.
Yeah.
But you know, he made 10 passes in the whole match. He gave away 3 fouls. Some of them were a bit soft, but even so, no dribbles, no crosses. 0 out of 6 ground duels, which isn't good enough. He needs to be winning the ball a bit more with his feet.
I still think he steps up a bit too much, Alex. I don't know about you. Just when the ball
was a little bit higher
forward
today.
and he tries to step up, the forwards are seeing him coming. And Anthony did it twice to him today, where he just ghosted him, and he was away. And I think he's got to be aware when he's playing left back, even when he's playing centre back. To be honest, he's done that a few times. I think that's the one downside of his game that I would like to see improved is his decision making when he thinks he's going to go in and win the ball, because sometimes he gets spinned very quickly and very easily.
Yeah. He's not a left back, is he? And sooner or later he was going to get caught out. And today was one of them days.
That's why I'm not super happy I have to give him a 5, because I don't feel like it's his fault. I feel like he's much more of a left-sided centre back than he is a left back. So I know he can do better.
Well, he gets a 6 on average then from us. James says Ten Hag said his team dominated and deserved to win. Not sure what he's bound to say that, isn't he? The cretin. It's Man United.
10 points, I think that sounds like.
Yeah. Remember, they are entitled. Anything to do with Manchester United, they are entitled. However, that's by the by. Right, we move to the centre backs now. Billy, we'll start with you. Fabian Schär.
Well, there's only one mark I can give him for his performance today. It was outstanding. It was a 10 out of 10 performance. Braves the line as he was every week. Didn't seem to be getting penetrated by anything they did. It was superb. Absolutely superb, and he epitomises the spirit that Eddie Howe's put into the team. He's the one man that does it. He's fantastic.
Fair enough. I've just seen a comment from Paul Hansen talking about the hills behind the goal. Around Old Trafford, and Paul Hansen reckons Fernandes caused them by the amount of times he goes down and is actually digging up the pitch at the side. I think that's class. I would 100% agree with you on that one. I'm giving Fabian Schär a 10 as well. I think he was just outstanding. And look, Fabian Schär today just was the epitome of what we want to see at Newcastle. You play for that badge that you are wearing, and he has done it since he's come back into the side. He's just a warrior, and you know, some of the clearances he was making, he was putting his head in where it hurts again. Picking up knocks left, right, and centre, but just getting on with it. Get a bit of treatment, get back on the pitch, and he's away again. He was clearing it with his head, his foot. He was blocking shots. I just think he was immense today. So a 10 from me. Alex?
Yeah, I've got to give him a 10.
Yeah.
I don't like giving 10s unless people have scored, but for a centre-back giving a complete defensive performance, I'll make an exception and give him a 10.
Well, it is like scoring a goal for a centre-back, isn't it? When the player, clean sheet and everything like that.
He just plays like such a mature football. I mean, to be fair, Botman plays like he's the same age as Schär, but Schär is playing like his age now. He's playing like a peak age quality centre back, positional passing, the technique. He's just playing how he should be for a Swiss international, and he's just absolutely brilliant. And we're so lucky that we've not had to go out and splash 30, 40 million to try and sort of fix the right side of the centre backs, because Schär's been able to step up to a similar standard of what we've just paid for Botman. It's just incredible.
Yeah. Dressed Man 123 says hopefully he's not injured. I think he clarified in his interview after the game that it was cramp.
Eddie Howe said he was fine in the conference.
Just when he stretched for that ball, it was the Fred one, wasn't it, where he stretched to block the shot. I think he got a bit of cramp, and just to make sure he didn't hurt himself badly, I think Eddie just yanked them off. Pardon the pun. I knew you'd laugh at that, you dirty get. Such filthy minds on this channel.
To be fair, he deserved it for that.
Speak for yourself.
No, I'm talking about Alex as well. Look at him. He's laughing away, trying to be all dignified and everything.
He said, I don't laugh at your jokes. I laughed at that one.
It wasn't a joke. That's all. I wasn't even trying to joke there. As soon as I said it, I thought, I'm looking at Billy, and I'm just knowing what Billy's reaction would be.
I wouldn't have laughed if it wasn't for Billy.
See, you just put your face down. You're a bloody disgrace, man. Get a grip. Anyway, where are we now? I forget. It's not me. I'd go on, Danielle. Well, I think I know what you're going to.
10 for me.
there
I
you
just think I love him. I love him. He just gets himself in the way all the time. Like, he's not bothered how he hurts himself. That's exactly the spirit we want. Like the fighting spirit. I think he's absolutely fantastic. And another 2 fingers to Steve Bruce, because look at what you could have had, sunshine.
Yeah.
Ta-ra.
Yeah, exactly. Tom says, I don't think there were any 10s today. 10 has to be absolutely outstanding for me. 9 because he was very, very good. I think he was outstanding, Tom, to be honest. But again, this is what play rating's all about. It's about opinions. And listen, 9 or a 10 is still a fantastic score. You know you've played well if you get a 9 or a 10.
I give everyone 10s all the time, me, so I don't care.
Yes, indeed. Right, we move on to his defensive partner, Svennis Botmanis. Well... Listen, if you're giving Fabian Schär a 10, you know, you probably think, you know, are you going along the lines of giving the 2 central defenders 10s because they just looked unbeatable today?
I give him 11.
I didn't see Sven put a step wrong, so
Virgil van Botman.
10. I'm going with a 10. Because if I give Schär a 10, I have to give him a 10. I know there's a lot of 9s coming in the chat. That's fair enough.
I mean, you could always do a poll.
The centre-backs were our best players today, in my opinion. No question about it. So 10 from me. Billy Bob?
Yeah, Beauty and the Beast, aren't they? Them two, Botman and Schär. Botman does all the silky stuff, but he also defends superb as well. Yeah,
I'm wondering where you're going with that, because they are 2 good-looking guys, those 2.
Yeah, but I mean, in a footballing sense, you know.
You know, if I was a woman judging them, and you know, this is just, I just think that they're probably our best-looking centre-back partnership that we've had in a long time.
Or Venison and Albert. No, they didn't play together. They didn't play together anyway. But yeah, Botman's just so silky. His passing ability, his anticipation of where the ball's going to go to, and very rarely you see him make a sliding tackle or anything like that. But he did today. He went out and made one today, and Anthony was fantastic also. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Really well spent.
Alex, I would try and do a poll, but unfortunately they're not working on YouTube at the minute, so I don't know why, because I was thinking of doing some polls, but they're not working. John Clifton, thank you for your £5 super chat. Batman a 10, 100%. What a player. Well, yeah, indeed. Danielle? Or need we even ask?
No, you didn't need to ask me. It's a 10. I mean, I'd give him 11 if I could, just because I think he's outstanding. I think he's just what he's done to our defence today was just fantastic. And I think you know, Billy, I think you're absolutely right with Botman. I just think he's, you know, he looks like the James Bond, doesn't he? And then Fabian Schär just looks like he's just getting involved in all the like scruffy stuff, like all the fighting in there, you know. It is like what it is.
Proper right-hand man, isn't
he? 100%. Love it.
Yeah. Julie J says Schär edges it on looks. Spacebar says both of them are handsome bastards, to be fair. Rachel says, oh, hell yes, Botman and Schär are gorgeous. What have I opened here? YT says, could I please get a shout out for me little boy who's ill at the moment but still watching? Say hi. His name is Lee Ryan. Would mean a lot, guys. Get well soon, Lee Ryan. Get well soon, buddy. And please, you're enjoying the show, and you'll get there, matey. Stay strong. Stay strong. As long as you haven't got a belly like mine and Billy's was last week, you'll be fine, buddy. Don't worry. Right, Alex Botman.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to give a 10. I mean, if I wasn't on the show, I'd have probably given it 9s. But you guys giving 10s.
If I wasn't if you were able to give halves, I'd give it 9.5.
No, I wouldn't give him. I wouldn't give a half in this situation. I think it's. I do agree with what Tom said, though. To be fair, I feel like for example, if Botman scored from a corner and put that defensive performance in, then we've shafted ourselves. We can't go higher, can we? That's why
you have to remember that.
They can score 11.
Well, listen, centre backs, their main job is to defend, not score goals. And you know, it's just like a striker. It's their job is to score goals and not defend. So we very rarely give a striker points on defending, don't we? Yeah. So these defenders are there to do that, and they get a clean sheet
I'll
today.
Give them a 10 for the defensive performance, but it is worth noting that, you know, they can score goals as well. But for his defensive display, 10 out of 10. He was, as we've said, Rolls Royce. The fact he's doing it at 22 is outrageous, absolutely outrageous. He's playing like somebody who's been sort of a top-level defender for over 10 years, comfortably in the top leagues. You know, he's 20. Let's not forget, he won Ligue 1. They beat PSG. He made 37 appearances for Lille in that season when they won the trophy.
Captain. I don't care.
He's
what
got such
says.
good pedigree, and brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Right. We'll move on to the midfield, and we'll just get some quick fire scores for the midfield. We'll start with Longstaff. Danielle.
I'll give him a 6.
Okay. Alex.
I'll give him a 7.
Okay.
I think he was a bit better than that. 2 tackles, 2 interceptions, put himself about. It was okay. It wasn't worse than Nick Pope's performance as a general display, to be fair. So I feel like it's got to be a 7.
Well, again, there's lots of 6s and 7s coming in the chat. Billy Bob?
Yeah, 7 for me too.
Yeah, I'll go with a 7. We'll move on to Jolenton. And I'm going to give Big Joe an 8. I thought he was fantastic today in midfield. Really strong. Made some good runs, some good interceptions. I thought he was good today. And he gets an 8 from me. Billy?
Yeah, I'll give him an 8 also. Considering he hasn't played for a few weeks, I thought it was an outstanding performance.
Yeah. Alex?
See, I want to give him a 7, but for exactly the same reasons you guys have said. I thought he did well, considering he hasn't played for a few weeks. You know, he came on at left wing.
Yeah.
But he looked like he hadn't played in midfield for a few weeks. I think there were a few poor decisions, a few times where he wasn't aware, but he tried to make up for that, and he got back in position. He worked his butt off, and he was putting in tackles. I think he was fine, but I think it was just a 7 performance today.
Okay. Danielle?
I'll give him an 8.
Yeah. So he gets an 8. Right, on to Bruno. Alex, we'll start with you. And I hope Alex, do you understand the concept of quick fire?
I'll give him an 8. Drew 4 fouls, 5 out of 10 ground duels. He was the reason Fred did poorly statistically.
Okay.
Didn't get forward as much as we'd have liked, but yeah, I think an 8. I think he did better than Joe Linton. 8.
You're giving a Ben Jacobs answer there.
Yeah, I know. It is like he is like Ben Jacobs. You ask him to give a score, and then he gives the score, and then runs on to loads of stats. He's just incredible.
I've got to explain it.
Yeah, Billy?
7 for me. I thought sometimes he just tried to do a little bit too much, but he certainly did not as his usual fantastic self, but still had a very good game. 7 out of 10 for me.
I'll go with the 7 as well. Danielle?
I'll give him a 8.
Okay, right. So
7.5 he gets then.
So we get, oh, for God's sake. Alex will be happy. Right, onto the front 3, and we'll start off with Jacob Murphy. Danielle?
I'll give him a 7.
Okay.
So he did well. I think he had a good game. It's quick fire, isn't it? Sorry.
Yeah, I'd give him a 7 as well. I agree with you. He was there. He had a decent game, and I think he was a 7. Billy?
7 for me too. Yeah, very good.
Okay. Ben Jacobs?
No, I'm not having that.
Sorry, Alex.
Not with his comments about the takeover.
I don't mean about opinions. I just mean about length of answer. That's all I meant.
I don't like his comments on
sorry,
Champions League contracts and stuff.
Danielle, you've angered the beast right there on a Sunday night.
I'm sorry.
I don't like some of his opinions, so I don't like being called him. I disagreed with a lot of what he said when he was on John Sinclair's channel.
What have
I'm
you
happy
done,
to debate
Danielle?
with him.
You've opened a huge can of worms.
It's Raw Meat Sunday.
Wow.
Murphy gets a 7.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alex. Right, we'll move to the other side now. And Miggy, Billy, we'll start with you.
Yeah, same 7 out of 10 for the Murphy got. Again, he worked his socks off. Not as good as last week, obviously, but yeah, still a good game. 7 out of 10.
Yeah, Alex.
I think 7's generous, but I'm going to give him a 7. I think a lot was to do with him not getting as much service, especially second half. I think everything dried up. I'll give him a 7, but it's a generous 7.
Okay. I'm going to go with a 6, actually. I'm going to stick my neck out and say a 6. But you know what it is? I think with Miggy, it's just, you can't give his performance lower than a 6 because he worked his ass off and things didn't quite come off today, fair enough, but they'll come off in other games. And, he'll probably bag another goal on Wednesday against the Scouse Markhams.
Yes, hoping.
Danielle?
I'll give him a 7.
Okay. So Miggy ends up with a 7 all round. By the way, if you want to back up why you're giving him that, I don't mind.
You said quick fire?
I'm just.
That's what you said.
Well, yeah, quick fire, but you can give a quick explanation. You don't have to go into the far end of an encyclopedia like Stato likes to do. But we know he likes to break it down and just he's not paying any attention to me. He's just looking away thinking, shut up, you bell and get on with it. Right. So Calum Wilson, Alex, we'll start with you.
So I was looking at Calum Wilson stuff. That's why I was looking away. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 7 as well. But I want to point out he did some different stuff today than what he normally did. He was nibbling the ball away from people when they were asleep in midfield. I was quite impressed with that. 4 out of 4 ground duels and 3 tackles. A little bit more. We don't normally see that from Calum Wilson quite as much. He likes to be a little bit further away and playing on the shoulder in case somebody else wins it back. But he was going a bit deeper and winning the ball himself. And it was... I'm
surprised you've gone 7, Alex.
I don't think he did enough to get an 8, but that's not through his fault necessarily.
We're getting a lot of 6s, to be honest.
I think when the ball came in and around him, I think he did fine. I don't think he had a lot to work with. And similarly with Pope, I feel like if we're giving Pope a 7 for not having much to do, I feel like I've got to apply the same logic to Wilson at the other end. That's just my opinion. I think I'd give him a 7.
Fair enough. Danielle?
7 for me, please.
Okay.
Please.
I'm going to go with this. please, Bob. I'm going to go with a 6. I just think he was, but again, a 6 because it's not his fault. It's very difficult to get scores when you're not getting the service into him. So 6 for me. Right, substitution wise.
Can I give Calum a mark?
Oh yeah, sorry, Billy.
I'll give him a 7 because I thought he worked his socks off. He didn't get any service at all, really. Yeah, he still should have won as a penalty.
Fair enough. I thought I actually started with you there, Billy, so I do apologise for that. Right, you sounded a bit like Bruno Fernandes there. Can I not give it? Referee. Never mind. Right, now the substitution-wise, we'll not count the 3 that came on towards the end. They weren't on the pitch long enough to get a score.
They were. They were on 78 minutes.
What, he made the 3 subs at 78 minutes?
78th minute, yeah. The Lascelles one. No, the Lascelles one was after 90, so that's fair enough. But the other 4 were on 78.
Right, okay.
Ryan Fraser was in the 59th minute for Murphy.
Right, well, we'll start with Ryan Fraser, and for me, it's a 4. I thought he did nout. Danielle?
I'll give him a 3.
Okay. Billy?
3 for me.
Okay. Alex?
Yeah, I'll give him a 3. He was on for half an hour. He made 2 passes.
Half
an hour of football. It was absolutely woeful. I think he drew a foul. That was the most he did.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to give the 3 that came on all a 6. They were on for 12 to 15 minutes, I thought. And so I can't really score them otherwise than that. I don't know about you guys. Want to score them any different?
I might give Willock a 7. I feel like what he did on and off the ball for the amount of time he was on the pitch was worth. I think he gave us 7's worth of contribution. His weird little pulled shot was a bit funny, but I thought he was okay. And I don't feel like the other 2 did enough to warrant higher than a 6. But I might give Willock an extra point. I personally.
I think I'll give Lascelles a 6 as well because even though he was on 5 or 6 minutes, he made 2 towering clearances with his head.
Okay. Danielle, anything to add to that?
I'll give Chris Wood a 5.
Okay.
Right. Oh, I forgot about him. Yeah, 5 for me for Wood as well. Shit.
I'm just being kind, I think. He was poor. Right, the manager, Eddie Howe. I'm going to start this off. And I'm going to give him a 9 because I think he set us up right. He's trained all week for the game, and the only downside of Eddie's decisions today was to bring Fraser on. I think it was disappointing. So he gets a 9 from me. Alex?
I'm going to give him an 8, but for the same reasons. Okay. I think the team picked itself to a level. If it's to be believed that Willock was ill, then the midfield picked itself, the front line picked itself. Unless it was easy for him to continue with Murphy because Murphy scored against Brentford, didn't he? And then the back line picked itself. And then when Burns started to struggle, he swapped it for Target. So I think everything just picked itself today. I think there were easy substitutions. I think there were easy. It was an easy 11 because he didn't have any other alternatives because the other people were injured. So I don't know if I can give him credit for that necessarily. But he didn't do anything wrong. I'll give him an 8.
Okay. Billy?
8 for me also. I wouldn't have bought Fraser on from Murphy. I'd have left Murphy on another 10 minutes, I'm perfectly honest. And I'd have bought Tiger on a bit before when he did. So, yeah, 8 for me.
Okay. And Danielle?
8 for me as well, for the same reasons.
So he gets an 8 overall. The Newcastle United fans, 10 out of 10 as usual. There's no doubt about that. They were fantastic. Spacebar said Paul's commentary at 12. Thanks, mate. Really appreciate that. Right. Any special mentions this week, Alex?
That's a tough one. Can we swing back round?
If you haven't got one, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'll have a think. Swing back round.
Okay. Billy?
You, mate. I had the stream on. I had you at the same time as the commentator, as the stream, all perfectly in sync, and your commentary was outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Made it much more exciting than the bell ends on whatever channel it was I was watching on.
No.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Danielle?
I've got 2.
Ooh.
So my first one is Shaw, obviously, or Share.
Yes.
Sorry, I always say it wrong.
Right.
Just because of his a warrior. But the second mention has to go to Anthony Taylor for finally giving Klopp his comeuppance.
Yeah.
Getting
Bravo.
their son.
Bravo. Absolutely. 100%. Yep. I agree.
It made me heart happy a little bit.
Absolutely. 100%. Mine are going totally the way. I am giving it to my kids. And the reason I'm doing that is Phoebe, Ben, and Lily. They've all looked after me this week when I've been pretty poorly with the concussion and then the sickness. And obviously Susan again, she knows. But the kids have been so well behaved. They've gone and got me drinks and stuff like that and kept me going. So the 3 of them really get my award this week because the 3 of them have been there for me and looked after me and kept me right. So Lily, Ben, and Phoebe get the award from me. Alex?
I think I'm going to give mine. I think I'm going to give a joint award to Maxi and Shelby. Maxi for being obviously a day away from playing, and that's very unfortunate considering how well he was playing pre-injury. And Shelby, welcome back because I was so excited to see him in pre-season, as lean as he was, doing all the high pressing. I've never seen a John Joe Shelby as fit as that in my life, and it's very disappointing we didn't get to see him at the start of the season because I think we could have. I think he would have surprised all the neutral fans from different clubs watching him. I think we would have seen a completely different John Joe Shelby. I think people have pigeonholed him, and I don't think they really know what he's capable of. I don't think we know yet. I'm really excited to see him when he comes back with an extra gear of fitness because it'll be great.
I think he could have played himself into the World Cup squad, if I'm perfectly honest.
Possibly, yeah.
Interesting. Anthony says, Paul was meant today. Keep us posted. Team review is a 10 out of 10 as a team. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. I don't think there's anything else. No, that's it. We are done for the review. Now, next week is going to be a bit weird because obviously we play Everton on Wednesday. So what we're going to do is probably do that preview tomorrow night. Because we've got fan forum on Tuesday, and because we missed fan forum last week, I feel like we need to put it in this week to discuss, the games, and then get the fans say with the usual guys and see what they think of the game coming up on Wednesday as well. So we'll do the preview for the Everton game tomorrow night because it's a quick turnaround, and of course we'll get up the stats. Danielle, will you be available for that?
No, sorry.
All right, that's all right. Work is more important, especially when you've got to get up on the morning. So, but we will be back at 8:00 tomorrow night. Me, Billy, and Alex. We'll be back with the preview show. We will try and fit in a transfer show at some point this week as well because we've got some more names for you. Now we might actually just do that on Saturday again, actually during the day because
no game, is there?
There's no game.
Oh,
so we might fill that in on the
isn't
Saturday. It is. So we'll probably do that again, and because we've got a few more names to bring you and have a look at and see what they might what they might bring. to Newcastle should they sign. But that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much for your company again, all the super chatters, new members, everybody that's watched and commented, the mod squad, the super chatters, and of course you three on the screen with me now. Thank you very much. We hope you've enjoyed the shows today. We are blown away by your generosity as usual, and all the new subscribers. A big welcome to the channel as well. So me, Billy, and Alex will be back at 8 p.m. tomorrow night, where we will be previewing the Everton game, having a look at how they've been so far this season, and where the game can be won and lost, which we're not even thinking about really, but where are the danger signs for Everton? So enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening, guys. Have a good Monday. We'll see you at 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Take care.
Away the lads and lasses.